Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. So I have a huge box here, and this is a new collection coming from Sigma, and they are doing another Disney collaboration, and this time it's a collab with Beauty and the Beast. So this is kind of their, I would say, holiday like palette, since it is, you know, about that time. I feel like I've been doing a lot of Halloween palettes lately, so it's fun to have something a little bit different. You guys know how much I love Disney, so I was pretty excited that they were doing another Disney collab. So this is actually their third one. It seems they do one about every year. They did first Cinderella, and then they had Alice in Wonderland, and now we have Beauty and the Beast. Such a loved movie. So let's go ahead and get into this collection. I'm going to show you guys the box. Opening it up, it actually had these beautiful rose petals inside. I don't know, it was just all together so cute, and it is a full collection. So there's an eye palette, a cheek palette, there's some lip colors, and brushes. This collection is launching on October 17 on Sigma. I swear I saw that it was available somewhere else, maybe already, but the official launch is October 17. So let's dive into the products included here. I want to do swatches, show you guys the colors and everything. So we'll start with the eyeshadow palette. So it does have this beautiful kind of rose packaging here, very pretty with a navy metallic background, and this is just called the Beauty and the Beast palette. And then here is your colors inside. So I feel like this does lean a little more on the neutral side, but it does have some color pops. Like there is some rosy purples going on here, there's a pop of blue, there is some gold to pull in like the yellow from Belle's dress. There's not like a bright yellow though. I know a lot of people were surprised that there's not a ton of yellow going on in the palette, but there definitely is some golds, and I love that there's a lot of neutrals, because I feel like that's what Sigma's really good at, is their neutrals. But let's go ahead and do swatches. I'll swatch everything one by one for you guys. First shade we have is called Little Town, and this is such a pretty metallic. I know sometimes Sigma's metallics can be a little on the subtle side. I feel like they're more satins, but this is so shiny and such a beautiful shade. It actually pulls more, I feel like, golden yellow on the eyes. We have a matte called Cogsworth. Oh my gosh, this matte is so creamy, and I forgot to mention that this palette does have some fun imprints on it as well. We have more of a subtle glitter topper. This is Winter's Night. Another more subtle satin shade is Belle. We have a matte burgundy brown called Runaway, a matte berry called Pots. Next we have a shimmery rosy color called Rose Petal, a dark brown matte called Forbidden, a medium matte brown called Bookworm, a shimmery champagne called Be Our Guest. It's a little more rose goldish. A navy matte blue called Beast. We have a dark gold. This does have a black background. If you guys remember from the Cinderella palette, a lot of those had like a darker background. This is Enchantress. We have a more burnt red called Ego, and then a purple shimmer called Moscherie. So that's a look at all of these swatches. I feel like it swatches very beautifully. This palette is going to retail for $59, and as always, Sigma's palettes always contain a brush inside. So this is a nice little duo brush with a flat shader side and a crease side, and this one has little imprints on it too. There's an imprint of a rose on it, so cute, and also this one has an imprint of some books on the gold. So it does come with a brush. Now I haven't seen if you can buy the PR box. I feel like they've had it before where you can, but I could be wrong. They might have a whole bundle deal if you do buy the full collection. Now there's also a cheek palette in the collection. I love when Sigma does these, just the Beauty and the Beast cheek palette. This kind of has the same packaging as the eyeshadow palette, and inside we have two blushes and a highlight, and these have fun imprints on them as well. So we have a pink blush that has Belle and the Beast imprinted on it. This is Something Sweet, and I think this is such a stunning color. Now, of course, the highlight is named Lumiere. Like, I mean, you have to do it. And he is also imprinted on the color. And this is a nice little bit of golden type of highlight. I love this formula from Sigma. It's the same as their regular powder blushes and highlights. And then lastly, we have the rose inside like the casing that the flowers drop from. This is Beauty Within, and this is more of like a nude color. It's a little on the light side, I would say, but I really think this is a beautiful cheek palette. I love all the shades included, and they're all powders. Now they also did a mini lip set in the collection. It's going to come with 3 of their hydrating lip creams, which I believe is one of their newer launches. I think this is the last lip launch they did. I saw them release these and I've been wanting to try them, so I'm so excited that it's in this collection. And they are little mini sizes, but you do get 3 different shades included. So this first shade is called Bonjour. This is such a beautiful neutral pink. These are a nice formula too. They're fully opaque, but they have a little bit of a gloss to them, but they're so comfortable on the lips. Next color, this one is called Spellbound. And this one is a little darker. It's actually more like cool tone mauve almost. And it looks like that. Second one here. And then the last shade, this is the darkest one, called Adventure. Another pretty rosy pink. So those are the 3 lip creams in the collection. Again, that set is going to be $29 for the 3 of them. And then the last thing in the collection, they did do a brush set. So this time it comes in this beautiful navy metallic glittery bag. It doesn't really get any glitter fallout either, so that's good. Sorry, I've been swatching like so many times this palette, so my fingers are all stained. But it says Sigma here, and then on the back it says Beauty and the Beast. The zipper has like cute little bell imprint, and then the inside has a golden yellow rose pattern inside. So this is like a nice little travel bag, and it's gonna come with 5 brushes. So first of all, we have 2 face brushes, and the packaging on these is beautiful. It's like a metallic navy with gold writing, so it says Beauty and the Beast. This is the Sigma Angled Foundation F46 brush, and on each brush there is a character engraved in the gold part, which is so cool. So this one has the beast engraved on it, and that's going to be your foundation brush. Next brush is more like a powder brush. This is the Powder Sculpt F44, and this one is going to have Belle engraved on it, so I use this one for powder. And then there's also 3 eye brushes as well. First being this crease brush. This is the Diffused Blend E24, and this one has Lumiere etched into the gold. We have the Eye Shading E55 brush, which has Cogsworth engraved on it. And then we have the E15, which is going to have Chip engraved on it. So stinking cute. I feel like these feel really nice quality. They always do such a good job on their brushes. So that full set, including all 5 brushes and the bag, is going to retail for $89, which is supposed to be a $135 value if you bought those brushes individually. So that is what I know for pricing. That is a look at all the products. I did do 2 looks today, a little more purple look, and we have this kind of like Belle inspired one, which is a little more neutral golden browns. So let's get into the 2 looks. Starting with the eyeshadow palette, I do want to do a different look on each eye because I feel like there is a lot of different color stories in here that you could go with. Like you could go more neutral with like the golden tones, the bronzy tones, or you could take it a little more rosy or play with the blues. So I think I want to try 2 different looks today just to make sure I try a lot of the colors. So we're going to use the Diffuse Blend brush from the set, and I'm going to start out with this purple called Pots, and I'm going to place this in the crease. I'm usually used to working with smaller brushes, and typically these sets have some of the bigger ones. But this does deposit a lot of color, and their mattes are really easy to blend. Next, I'm going to go into this navy. This is the Beast color. I really just want to test this out and see how it looks. So I'm just using that same brush. I did wipe off the excess, and we're just going to place this in the outer corner. I think those colors do look pretty together. Since they're in kind of the same color family, we'll just try and blend all of that. But that just gives us a little bit more depth. I'm going to take Ma Cherie. Let's go ahead and place this shimmer on the lid. This is one of those kind of black base shimmers, so it's a little on the darker side. Next, I'm going back with Pots and taking this on my lower lash line here. And then let's try this kind of crystally pearl white topper called Winter's Night. And I'm going to try placing this in my inner corner. But yeah, this one seemed like it had a very sheer wash of color, so it definitely seems more of a topper shade just to add like a little bit of glitter. I'm not sure I love how that looks because I just wish it had a little bit more impact to it. It's a pretty subtle glitter. So that's the first eye completed. Let's move on over to this side. For this eye look, let's take a Cogsworth in the crease. This is such a nice kind of warm matte brown. Let's deepen that up a little bit with Bookworm. I'm gonna see how this applies. So I'm just taking that also in the crease, just kind of focusing in the outer half. Just very lightly dusting that in. And then we'll take this dark, dark brown called Forbidden and use that in the outer corner. This one was super pigmented. I think I even got too much product, so I had to wipe a little bit off on my hand. And then we'll go back to blending. It's a very dark brown, almost black, so it's very intense in color. I'm also going to use that same Bookworm shade on my lower lash line, which is that medium brown that we use in the crease. Just smudging that out. This is kind of more the neutrally look. I just want to see what this Belle shade looks like on the lid, just because I was not impressed with it in the swatches. I thought it was really, really light. I feel like it's almost like see-through. And I wish it was just a little bit more intense, especially since it is like the Belle and that's supposed to be like the yellow of the palette. I do wish that had more intensity to it. I'm gonna actually go over that with Little Town because this one is the sparkle that I like. Like, I love a good shimmer. So I'm just gonna kind of keep this in the center here. And then taking Belle again and just keeping Belle like in this inner part. And just applying that with a brush. So those are the two eye looks, super easy to do. Let me go ahead and finish up. I'm gonna put some mascara on, just do a little concealer. I really didn't have much fallout at all with this palette, which I was really impressed with, because some of the other Sigma, like more colorful palettes I've tried, I did get a little bit of fallout with, but I feel like these look pretty good and they're not very messy at all. So let me clean this up and then we can move on to the next products. Okay, I did put some lashes on, I did some bronzer. Now we can do the cheek palette here, and I think I kind of want to try the more pinky blush on. So let's dip into Something Sweet and go ahead and apply to the cheeks. I love Sigma's blush formula, and this feels just like the single powders that you buy. Just a really nice, soft, buildable blush. But you can see you can definitely build up the intensity. Now we'll add the Lumiere highlight. Beautiful. So that definitely has more of a golden tone. And I feel like it would work for all skin tones. But I really like the Sigma highlight formula too. That's really pretty. Next, for lips, I'm going to go ahead and line with my Huda Honey Beige lip liner. It's just a nice neutral that'll go with pretty much anything. And let's try the lip in Spellbound. Really, really nice formula. I need to get some of the regular line ones of these because these are really good. Okay guys, so that is the finished look, trying everything from the collection out. I mean, I know we didn't use every single brush, but I think that's okay. I know I already had my foundation on and I felt like this brush was too big for blush. I feel like this is more of like maybe a setting powder brush, which you could do, or like a bronzer brush maybe. I don't know. I'd probably use it more for setting powder because it does have a nice shape just to get all over on the face. Now that we've tried everything, let me give you guys my thoughts so far. So for my thoughts so far on the Beauty and the Beast collection, I think this overall is really well done. The packaging is beautiful. Let's talk about the eyeshadow palette. So I enjoyed playing with this one today. I do think a lot of people are going to be upset though about not having like a bright yellow, but I do feel like these kind of more shimmery golden colors do pull more yellow on the eyes. but I just feel like Sigma is kind of more of like a natural wearable kind of company when it comes to their eyeshadows. I think maybe a little more yellowy shimmer could have been pretty, but I see why maybe they didn't add the red in there. I feel like that's a little bit, you know, hard to kind of make more wearable looks with, but overall I actually think this is my favorite Disney palette that they've done yet because it is more wearable. I could see myself using this a lot. I feel like there's a lot you can do with it, with the neutral shades, again, going for more of like a purple look or going for more with the blue. So I feel like there's a lot you can do with it, and I am a sucker for neutrals. So overall I'm happy with the color story, and I feel like it performed pretty well. We did have a couple shades in here that I'm not really a big fan of. I really don't like this glitter topper. I feel like it doesn't do a whole lot. If you're gonna add a glitter topper, like I want it to be very sparkly. I want to see it. I want it to show up, and this one is just way too subtle. And I'm pretty disappointed in the Belle shade for being the Belle color. I feel like that has to be more impactful. I think with that one they could have definitely made that more of the yellow shimmer, but this is a very, very subtle color on the eyes. It doesn't really pack much of a punch, not a lot of impact with that one, but there is still some really great other shimmers in this palette. Sigma isn't always my favorite when it comes to shimmers because you guys know me. I love a super sparkly shimmer. I like it to be super shiny, creamy, smooth on the eyes, and it doesn't have that for all the shimmers, but there is a couple really pretty ones in here. I will say though, the mattes in this palette are very, very good. I was really impressed with the quality of those. I just find Sigma to all around, I always say this, but all around they're just an easy to use brand. If you're not really into the super glittery metallics, then this might be a brand you would like to try, but I just find them easy to use, very beginner friendly, and they have great pigmentation. So I'm pleased with the palette so far. Is there a couple shades I would like to change? Yes, but I can't always get exactly what I want, I suppose, when it comes to eyeshadow palettes sometimes, but overall I'm pleased with it. I think both looks we did are really gorgeous. I did want to do some palette comparisons here because I did swatch some next to each other. So I ended up grabbing a few palettes out of my collection. I don't have all of Sigma's palettes, but I do have a couple, and at first this palette kind of reminded me a little bit of the new mod from them, which is one of my favorites from them. So I did end up comparing these. I do feel like new mod is definitely very monochromatic, very rosy, kind of berry tones in here, and this one has like a little bit of extra things, so they didn't actually seem as close as I thought they would be, but that's what they look like side by side. And I did go ahead and swatch them as well, which these didn't really match up as much as I thought. Like, of course, like maybe the rosy tones in this little quadrant here are gonna match up, but with the rest of the palette I thought these were actually quite different. I actually thought this palette was closest to one of their recent launches, which is the Angela Bright collab. So this is their, I think, last big palette launch. I know they've been doing some small ones, but I actually was quite surprised how these did have similar tones in them. I feel like they have a similar color story, but the shades, they don't match up exactly, like where one might be a matte, one might be a shimmer in one of them, but I feel like they have very similar tones. They're not exact dupes by any means, but I don't know if you need both if you do have the Angela Bright. Honestly, they both have like the neutrals going on. They have like the champagnes, the golds. There's a pop of purple. There's a pop of blue. This one's a little more teal. This one's more navy. So they're not the same shade, but that is what they look like side by side. It's kind of hard because I feel like the dark packaging of this one throws it off a little bit, but they're actually kind of quite similar in color story. As far as the cheek palette goes, I really enjoyed this. It honestly might be my favorite thing in the entire collection. I just love the blush tones in here. I think they're so pretty for every single day. Love the Lumiere highlight as well. I think that's gorgeous. I just love Sigma's cheek formula. So that one's a must-have from the collection for me for sure. I also really love these lip creams, you guys. I would definitely recommend picking up this set. I feel like the colors are so pretty. I love this formula. It's so comfortable. It's not like super sticky or anything for such a thicker gloss like this, but I love that they have the full opacity, but you can also get a little bit of shine. I think these are absolutely stunning. And lastly, the brush collection. I think this is very well done. I will tell you, Sigma, honestly, they do not make my favorite eye brushes. They aren't ones I usually gravitate towards. I feel like I still need to find my favorites from their line, but like their crease brush is a little too flimsy for me. I need smaller detail brushes for my smaller eyes, so I'm not a huge fan of the eye brush that's included. I actually prefer the brush that's in the palette as opposed to the ones in the set, but I do like the face brushes included. Like this foundation brush is going to be really nice. I already know I love their F80. This is basically the F80 but curved, which I really like in like my BK Beauty brush. It's also curved like that, so I know I'm gonna like this. And then I think this is a really nice powder brush, but if I was buying the collection for myself, I probably wouldn't have picked up the brushes, but that's just me. I think Sigma makes gorgeous brushes, but I still just, these aren't my favorites that they've done, and it's not my favorites that I typically reach for. But yeah, that's kind of my thoughts so far on the collection. I want to hear what you guys think. Are you guys picking this up at all? Are you passing on it? Again, the launch date for this one is October 17th, so I'm reviewing this one a little bit early, but hopefully you guys can watch a few videos, kind of gather your thoughts, see if this is something that you want to pick up. Hopefully this was helpful. And also, I do have a 10% off code with Sigma if you do want to pick anything up from the collection. It's just Leah Janae 10, and that works on their website as well. Sigma always has really great sales going on. I feel like they're even running a sale right now, so definitely check out their site, because I would recommend, like, I love their blush products, their lip products. I need to find some good brushes from them, so let me know any of your Sigma brush favorites down below, because I need to find some new ones. That's gonna be it for this video. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next one. Bye guys.